The cloud. All right, so our video is starting, and then our audio. I'm going to record my audio over here in Logic. We should be good to go.
Broken pieces together.
Another episode of Podcast, episode number 3. I got with me, man, one of my old friends here from Cali. He's no longer here, but that's where all of this started. One of my old friends, he's now in men's physique and NPC. He's an NPC competitor. He's got goals of becoming an IFBB Pro. IFBB Pro. I'm getting that right. Most importantly, though, he's a good old friend from our days as youths when we were serving. Max Alinikoff, everyone, at Matt Max. How you doing, Max?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm just living life. How you been?
That's great, man. So you are no longer. First of all, Alinikoff. Let's start there, man. All the years I've known you, I never asked you where's the background on that?
It's Russian.
Russian. Okay.
I'm like more than 3/4 Ashkenazi Jew.
Okay.
On my dad's side, and then my mom's basically Hispanic and Asian.
Hispanic and Asian. I don't think I met your parents, but
might have, maybe, I don't know. If you're ever at Bosch, I mean, they came occasionally, but they didn't really stay that much.
Yeah. So Bosch, man, those were the days.
Yeah, when you were young and you thought everything was going to be okay and the world was a utopia.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was interesting.
For those of you curious where Bosch is in a city called Santa Cruz in Bay Area, California, in the mountains. It's a hell of a way to get there. But yeah, it was where Max, myself, and many other of our mutual friends spend a lot of our summers and even spring breaks. We would always go up there, and as part of this religion called Baha'i faith, that's what we have in common, Max and I. One of many things.
Sure.
But anyway, that's how we know each other. But Max no longer lives in California, and that's actually why I wanted to have him on. I want to talk to you about your journey from being in NorCal and then disappearing in the wind and ending up in Tennessee.
That's kind of how I wound up there. I used to just disappear and go somewhere. That's how I kind of used to handle situations. I came to Bosch the same way I left California.
Tell us more.
I'm a high school dropout, and I was getting into some trouble with some friends or whatever, like every kid does. And I was pulled out of high school at an opportune moment. Actually, I'm real glad I was pulled out. And I moved around a little bit. First, actually, before moving to California, I wound up going to Seattle, Washington.
I didn't know that.
Because there's that term of service that a lot of people are encouraged to have at some time of their life as a Baha'i.
Yeah.
You just don't do anything but serve the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no hate on that. It's just
it's a heavy word, right? What does that really mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
But it
Essentially,
was,
we just what did we do? We just went and we cooked and we cleaned the cabins and we took care
yeah,
of we
as if like making money and feeding a family isn't service. So anyways, I went to Seattle. I was in this dance troupe, and I was really bad at dancing, and we lost funding in Seattle around the same time because I guess the taxes from liquor and cigarettes used to go to public funding for the arts or something like that, and around the same time that affected our group of people, and thank God, because that group was awful. We were horrible. Um, so that I wound up working for the best. I embarrassed myself for about 6 months instead of a full year, and I then needed another destination, and the visa took forever, and I wasn't trying to go live back in Hendersonville, Tennessee, because I just didn't like it there. So I almost went to Australia, but it didn't work out.
Wow.
Yeah, Australia would have been dope. I mean, now that I see more photos on social media of
Yeah.
Australia, but I'm glad I went to California. And that's how I wound up at Bosch, man. I just kind of picked up and left, man. I had to get out.
That's crazy. So you were so tell us were you born in Hendersonville, Tennessee or what?
Yeah, yeah, I was born there. Actually, my
Y-
mom
y-
still lives in the same house I was born in.
Wow, okay. So you were in Tennessee, then you got shot up to Seattle after high school or middle of
Yep.
high school. And then you did the dance thing, then you were in Australia, didn't work out, and you ended up in Santa Cruz. Um so how did you get to you were just were you just applying at different places to get to, and then Bosch just ended up being the place?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
applied to the World Center like 3 times, and they just
really.
kept telling me no. Um, they
That's
were
not.
just like, nah, I gave up on that. I gave up on serving in Haifa, Israel,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for good.
Okay,
I gave up on that idea.
for
But
sure. So then, how long were you in Bosch? I mean, I that's where I met
and on
you.
and
And
off for a minute, right? I mean,
yeah,
I was there for a full year,
okay,
and that's actually a lot happened. A lot happened for me and to me at Bosch.
yeah,
Um, Intellectually, as a dropout. So that was kind of the place where I started actually reading. Like
yeah.
I didn't do that before,
Me neither. I
didn't do
didn't
much
read.
of that stuff. Like I
Yeah.
read a little bit. I think actually the one book I read a lot before I got to Bosch was actually the autobiography of Malcolm X. That was the one book I read on my own that I just kept reading.
Yeah.
Besides Harry Potter and right.
I haven't read or watched any Harry Potters, ladies and gentlemen.
So you're not missing much. So that was like those were the books I read. I was a very weird kid,
Yeah.
and man, I went to Bosch, and I eventually just started reading everything. I seriously just like I read every single book in that library at one point.
They have a big library over there, by the way. And so,
Yeah, yeah. So I was there for like a year and a half,
yeah.
um, and I wound up going to junior college in SoCal, which is right outside, right off the mountain,
Yeah.
and I would go up every weekend and you know shoot the shit and hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So you you ended up in Bosch for a year and a half before heading off to college.
Mm-hmm.
And then so how did that work out? You got your so you said you were a high school dropout, and then once you got to Bosch, I'm assuming you got your what is it, GED? Or how did it
I
work?
got my GED in Seattle.
Oh, you got your GED in Seattle. Okay.
Yeah, the original plan was for me to get my in-state tuition in a different state, and Seattle was. I got it there.
Yeah, yeah. Sweet. All right. So you got into reading, and what were some of the what were some of the chores they made you do at Bosch?
Man, we messed up a lot there. Um, they actually have all these rules. I think the National Spiritual Assembly had meetings like every single month about us.
Yeah.
Me and some of the dudes from I think it's Fresno. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fresno. Man, we were crazy. We were crazy. We were never followed the rules. I mean, you're gonna take a bunch of kids who like are gonna try to change themselves. Like,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
we were causing all sort of problems. I remember they took the fridge from one of the rooms in the lobby and ran all the extension cords down to like a closet in the basement, and we hid all the cake and all the pie.
Oh my God.
So they had just ordered all this food for like everybody staying there for like a few weeks, and we hid all of it. They couldn't find dessert.
Oh shit, man. Damn. That's where the dessert was, man. I was like, where's the damn pie?
So it was, man, it's like you can't really take the kid out of troublemaking, you know.
Yeah.
We found things to do.
Yeah.
It was a good old time, but they were threatening to kick us out.
Yeah.
Like every week they're gonna threaten you. And there's funny things about Persians, right? Persian Baha'is, the funny thing about Persian Baha'is is the one thing they want you to do is just to like read the writings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And since I
Yeah.
actually enjoyed reading the writings, like
Yeah.
it was a legitimate understanding that I had,
Yeah.
I would just like recite stuff I memorized and they would just keep me there.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
cool. I remember that. Yeah, I remember you were super into hip hop too at that time. You still are. And you I know you didn't want me to talk about this, but I'm going to. You said you were good at rhyme. I mean, you were good at rhyming and spitting, and you guys would have battles with over there at times, and I was just a spectator because I was the furthest away from any
Yeah.
rapping. I was the singer in the group, man. I was just I was just the one who
Right.
was yeah, yeah.
Right.
But that was fun. That experience. I want to say that during those times when we were there. I mean, you stayed there, right? Like you would stay there for extensive periods. I would go and come back like for different programs.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the experience if I can say is it teaches you things. Does it really shape your future? It could and it couldn't, right? Like you take values from there, you keep some things like reading, for example, you picked up over there, and that's great. Like I picked up reading later too, not at Bosch, but
Mhm.
just through my experiences in other areas and fields. But but I mean, the best thing I picked up there is love, right? I think I picked up love there, and I was able to see that um, people can come to one place and there's almost, I mean, for me anyway, it was very little judgment, right? It was like you were who you were, and they took you in, even if you caused shit and caused trouble and stuff. Like they gave you chances, right? They gave you chances, but um for me, in hindsight, I thought that was the special part for me. What was it for you? Like your experience just overall from Bosch?
Um, my opinions have changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Bosch didn't really prepare anybody for the real world. Like
True that. Yeah,
it, it
I get
didn't.
that.
I think it's a disservice in a way. But I'd be lying if I said like I'm not an active Baha'i anymore.
Right.
Just throw that out. I'm not active anymore. But
Yeah.
I would be lying if I said that, you know, the faith didn't save my life a couple times. You know,
Yeah.
so I think that it's really important to highlight that
Yeah.
and to say that it did contribute to my intellectual growth.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was I still am a stubborn person, but
Yeah.
I was, I had a lot more energy then. So
Right.
people know me now here, see how stubborn I am. Like I had a lot more energy to be a lot more stubborn. And I just kept doing what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
which was, at one point I had dreams of learning Arabic calligraphy and all this stuff, and I got a tutor and I tried to learn it. And you know, there's a phrase people say a platitude people throw around a lot, like life is what you make it,
Yeah.
but life is what makes you. Like it's
Mm.
you can do as much as you want to emulate certain characteristics, and you should mature and grow intellectually and physically and spiritually and all that stuff.
Yep.
But you're gonna be the same awkward person you grew up as. Like you're just gonna be that dude, and that's who you are.
Yeah.
No matter how much you change, in essence, like you're still the same person.
Right.
So, man, I get so distracted, right? I just have my head in multiple spaces in the clouds, right? I'm
Yeah.
always have my hands on multiple things. But Bosch gave me that space to sort of think as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't got nothing to do there, but like wash the dishes and take orders,
Yeah.
and have fun with friends, right?
Yeah.
But really it's just like it's just your space to think. And
Mm.
that was kind of where that started. I don't think I would have gotten into Berkeley if it had not been for Bosch. I mean, it wasn't like the books, like I, you know, it was is the people I met.
Yeah.
You know, I made friends with some people who are still mentors to this day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, House of Justice members, retired people. Hooper Dunbar was a big mentor of mine for years,
Yeah.
because I served there, because I
Yeah.
lived there. And Hooper Dunbar is like one of the last academics of his kind. You know,
Yeah.
you look at the. We won't get into the administration and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
But he was an actor, right,
Right.
in L.A. and he's taught the faith all over the world.
Yeah.
And he's still alive and still traveling and still talking and still giving speeches and talks.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He was he was a great speaker. He was a great mentor, as you said. Um,
right,
but my idea on it is, and this podcast, this episode, what isn't intended to be just focusing on the faith. That was just part of our lives when we were younger, and we
right.
learned from it. We took from it what we took. We're now adults and living our adult lives. Um, but yeah, great speaker. Hooper Dunbar was, and he still is, and I think they're great speakers from all backgrounds, though, right? I mean, you and I were just we were fortunate enough to meet him in person and you know take a few notes for life from him.
Mhm.
So now from there, so you said Berkeley. Where did you go from Bosch? So Bosch wrapped up, and to give a time frame, what year are we talking here?
I went to Bosch.
Was it 2008, 2007?
mm, Probably 2004.
Oh, you were there earlier. That's true. Actually, you're right. 2004, because I moved to Cali in 2000, late 2003, and then and then I went to Bosch because I didn't know anybody here. So that's where I went to find people. So
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
Oh, 04. We're not old though, ladies and gentlemen.
Pretty old, man.
We're wiser. I'll say that. So oh 04, so you did the Bosch thing from oh 04 to what? Oh 05, oh 06?
um, yeah,
Yeah.
I Cal, graduated from Berkeley in probably 2011. So I went there in 2009.
I see.
Berkeley in about 2008 and 2009. So I was I was in or around Santa Cruz that whole time.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Um, and what'd you study at Berkeley?
History.
History. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The only
great.
thing I was good at.
That's good. That's good, man. Um, so history. Okay, that's cool. And so Berkeley, you get your degree there, and then where are you off to? SoCal?
Uh, yeah, yeah. Well, I graduated Berkeley and I hung out in the East Bay for a while.
Yeah.
I wound up, getting a job out there, and right out of college, I sort of I got into some stuff after college.
Yeah.
I got into some bad trouble after college,
Okay.
and things started going south. I was doing a lot of the wrong things, at the wrong time. Um, it's just unfortunate, some of the things that happen. You know,
What would you associate that to though? If I could delve a little deeper into that. So you finished college, right? So
yeah,
uh,
yeah. So it's I'm just in this environment again. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the same environment that I was in before I left Tennessee.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I put myself in that environment. It's attractive.
Mhm,
It's fast. You
mhm,
know,
mhm.
um, it's easily accessible.
Yeah.
So I was in a rough relationship at the time,
Mhm.
and I wound up having a kid out of wedlock. Couple years, after I just got done with Bosch.
Yeah.
Um, and we eventually had to move, right? We had to move from the East Bay. Um, and we went to SoCal, it, in between LA and San Diego. I was living there. And that just didn't work out. The vibe there just didn't,
Yeah.
everything was just downhill as soon as we got there.
Yeah.
Because everything was a surprise to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Surprise how? Like was it in relation to perhaps jobs, people around you? What would you associate it to?
Oh, it's just like, my parents were like, oh, wait, you're in a relationship? Wait, you have a kid? You
Oh,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like that kind of a surprise is
Got it.
daunting. And
Yeah, yeah,
especially when like the families don't mesh and like all this stuff happens.
yeah.
It's
That's tricky, yeah.
it's just really hairy, It's the only good thing that came out of that whole situation was my daughter.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it,
Yeah.
and we moved from SoCal to Tennessee after Micah was born, my daughter Micah.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a beautiful name, by the way.
thanks.
Yeah.
Uh, so we moved to Tennessee, moved in with my mom and stuff, and tried to make things work. It didn't work.
Didn't work, yeah.
And, I'm here, and they're in Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah,
Very opposite coasts on as far as that's concerned.
yeah, yeah. So it's difficult, It's
Yeah. The time difference too. That's 6 hours, huh? 6 hours difference.
yeah, no, no, it's difficult to even have a relationship. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the past, I grew up in a very man, I grew up in the house I grew up in,
Mm-hmm.
but in the community as a whole, it was just assumed like you love somebody, have a kid, it works out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
No, it doesn't work out like that at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I tell somebody when they're getting ready to have a kid is I tell them to save their money, and
Man.
protect yourself. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I get it, man. I mean, I've been married now what coming up on 6 years here,
Right,
and
right.
we're both like both my wife and I are like we always get nervous, man, when we start thinking about it. We're like,
Oh
it's
man, it's great. It's great. You guys have a foundation. It's solid. I mean, this is like you're not ready for a kid until it comes. So
yeah, man. And they say you're never ready, right? Even when it comes, they say you're
no,
not ready. Yeah.
never ready. Never.
So
So
man, so you had okay, so this okay, so the so Micah's I'm assuming is in Hawaii.
mhm.
Okay. So now um so you moved to Tennessee. The plan was to just move in with the family, with your family, and then
And then make
figure
it work in Tennessee. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's
And
cheap.
then oh yeah, well that's for sure. Yeah. Actually my wife is from Nashville, Tennessee, coincidentally. She was born there.
Oh, no way.
One of the few Persians who's born in Nashville. But yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so so you moved up, so you moved to Tennessee. Things didn't work out. You stayed, um,
Mhm.
and so now we're talking what year are we talking now as far as like timeline? Because I want to segue into you.
That was like 2015, 2015 is when they were living on another coast.
Gotcha. So then,
Okay.
at what year? So at this point, what were you doing as far as were you pursuing a job in history since that's what you
No.
no?
Which was as soon as I graduated college and I went ahead and did whatever I wanted to do, it's out the door, man.
Okay. So
Like
you
if I
had
was going to go to
yeah,
grad school, it should have happened then. Like that was my track, right?
right, right.
I'm gonna be a lawyer. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what you want. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because money. So
Right.
that was my track, but it didn't work out like that because I just didn't get serious at all
Yeah,
about
yeah.
college again.
Well,
Uh,
there's a reason for that too, right? I mean, if everybody was to just become a lawyer, then nobody would make money.
it's not my personality, like I'm saying, like
Yeah,
I couldn't really change essentially who I was. I gotta have my hands on stuff and do things.
yeah. I get you. I got you, man. So then, what were you dabbling in before you discovered men's fitness and men's physique?
Well, the reason I got into it is because it's really the only thing that kept me sober.
Oh, okay.
Like everything else didn't.
I see.
You can espouse certain values, but at the end of the day, like drugs feel good, liquor
Yeah,
tastes good,
yeah,
um, and I know the kind of damage it caused. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I was just like living with no consequences, or thinking that this is my own life. I can mess it up if I want to.
yeah,
Um, but the years of trouble it put my family through is insane,
yeah.
and it's just like when I think of them, some of the things I did, and they're still like kicking it with me. I'm like, yo, you guys must really love me because it's crazy, man. Um, there's always something that doesn't require every other sort of avenue doesn't require you to eat healthy every day.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't. Um, and I'd always been active. Like I wasn't really that great in sports as a kid, but um, I was always going to the gym, like no matter what, throughout my life. So uh, I started just going to group fitness gyms and stuff when they
yeah,
left, and I had to do something that took the urge to do something bad away.
yeah.
And I
You
found
were
the
hurt. You were hurting. So I mean, there was hurt there, of course.
oh
The
man, there's crazy anxiety, man. It's
yeah,
nuts. Like
yeah,
the old Max didn't have this kind of anxiety. I have to get up and make a plan for the day. I have to stay focused, right?
I can
Um,
relate. I can relate with that.
right.
Anxiety, mental health is huge, man. I mean, something they don't really talk to you about at Bosch.
No, in life in general,
In
right?
life in general,
I think,
that's true.
and now like everybody with a social media account thinks they're a therapist. It's
Yeah,
like the opposite end of the spectrum. It's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
insane because you have to take action. Like you
yeah,
have to do something like physically.
yeah,
Like you have to just do it and like take stuff out of your head. And if I was if I was really good or inclined musically, it'd be music.
yeah,
But it's always been just like in your face kind of energy.
yeah,
I joined a kickboxing gym first that
yeah,
had weights and started kickboxing. I did a couple years of Muay Thai, like serious technical Muay Thai. There's a coach who lives here in Nashville who grew up fighting in Thailand. And I would do classes one-on-ones with him weekly for like years because I had no idea what to do. I had no
yeah,
idea a
yeah,
thing. So I worked with him, and I came from like not being coordinated to him actually allowing me to do fights. The fights didn't work out, and honestly, like my whole image process and the whole thing in my head about looking a certain way and having a certain muscle density, that's always been like the biggest part of this whole picture.
Okay.
So I started lifting. I kept getting injured.
Mm.
And I found a good strength coach, and found a good. Then I found a good coach for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So I'm a men's physique competitor, man.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what people know me as mostly, because I don't really go in depth like we've been going in depth. I don't do
Yeah.
that anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have time anymore. You got to wake up, you got to do something, and then you got to eat, and then you go to bed.
Right.
So you can only focus on certain things, and the more energy you put into thinking about other stuff, you're not getting anything else done. You're not getting, your objectives completed.
I get you, man. In a way, you simplified it, man. You simplified your life into just you just
Yeah.
put all your focus on what you can control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have an addictive personality, to say the least.
Yeah.
And it is like, I wasn't inclined to be a good men's physique competitor. I don't have the genetics for it. People are way better at genetics than me.
Yeah.
But I've been working at it so hard, and people only see a fraction of that. And
Mhm.
that's really what anybody ever sees. Really, they only see a minuscule amount of the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
But man, when things really hit the fan, in 2016 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
like, I was not good. I was not good mentally at all. I
Yeah.
wasn't. I was very not good. And I would force myself to go to the gym, like eating cans of tuna in the car and an apple. And there was times I was taking the bus to work, coming back, going to the gym, eating whatever I could. And that was like, okay, like I really like working out. This is kind of me not knowing what I'm doing, practicing that.
Right.
And then I got good coaches for lifting starting around 2017, 2018, working with a barbell strength coach. And then, when I found out my niche could be men's physique, right?
Yeah.
36 now. I'm going
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
36 in May.
All
So,
right.
I mean, your glory years, I guess, in bodybuilding and open bodybuilding, like the real big dudes, like, or early 40s, mid 40s is your retirement, I guess. 50.
Okay.
There's a
Okay.
couple competitors that are older that retire.
Yeah.
As the muscle continues to mature, like, you just eat a lot of food and take drugs and like lift
Yeah.
weights.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it's been the only thing that's gotten me to be healthy and to take things out, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to, I'm a person of extremes. So I have to, I was thinking to myself, I gotta stop drinking.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta stop. It's not like an occasional drink. Like, I have occasional drink with friends, but then I go drink by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta take this out. And if you're gonna look good all the time, or you're gonna keep growing every improvement season, and you're gonna get better and do better, touching alcohol really isn't. It hinders the recovery process most of the time.
Yeah. Well, there's calories, and that's probably like the calories just from it alone, I'm sure are
Sometimes it's not really the calories; it's the it's just alcohol itself, and some of it has a lot of sugar in it.
okay.
And that process slows down recovery.
Yeah.
I know power lifters that take a tequila shot before they lift,
Wow.
because it spikes test levels a little bit.
Wow.
But for me, I mean, the way I have to do it,
Yeah.
like, I got to stay away from it,
Yeah.
So I use it as an excuse not to do it.
That's good, man. And it seems based on what you're telling me is you took that addiction or love you had for alcohol, you replaced it with with men's physique.
Yeah.
I mean, once you found your niche, I mean that's probably like a huge highlight. I mean, not probably, definitely a huge highlight in your life in the past few years, because figuring out what to aim for and that goal, right?
Yeah.
Once you figured out your lane, now you're like, all right, fuck all else, right? I'm gonna go for it. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
do this.
No,
Yeah,
and I have appreciation for things everybody is doing, you know.
yeah,
But when it comes to this, having to get on stage and present something, um, you gotta you have genetics that nobody else has.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you gotta play to those. Um, I love strength training. I love subversive barbell, hard lifting. But the age I started at,
Yeah.
with back tendonitis or whatever problems I got going on with my hips, I'm not
Mhm.
gonna be the strongest dude. I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
And my genetics, my very long muscles, skinny legs,
I
skinny
remember
legs.
those.
I'm not just not gonna jump into classic physique
Yeah,
or definitely not, gonna jump into that when I keep training legs and I keep just, gaining weight on my upper body.
I got you. I
So
got you.
it's definitely like I saw that, just from my first few shows, the reception was great. And people saw that I was really serious about this. I think at one point when I knew I wanted to do something athletic as like my main focus, my family was against it because there's no money in it. You spend your own money until you find sponsors,
Yeah,
but you got to get good in order to get sponsors,
of
right?
course.
Everybody wants a sponsor.
Yeah,
So it was just a lot of doubt from everybody around me, sometimes myself, and I was like, "You're not gonna be good at this."
yeah.
And the opposite happened. Um, in 2 years, I almost turned pro. So last year, I did a show in Pittsburgh, and the masters category starts at 35, and
Okay.
it has like a 35 to 38 or whatever they had the category age groups, right?
Yeah,
And you can still get your pro card within that age group.
yeah.
And I was like a point off.
Damn.
And the reason, like you were showing me the photos
Yeah,
that you were going to share,
yeah.
the one I want is because that's why I didn't get my pro card,
Right.
is because I didn't open up when I always open up in practice, and my shorts, I thought they worked, and I filled up on carbs like right before I hit the stage, and the night before I depleted myself, and then I just filled up on all these really nice sugary carbs, and everything sort of got a little tighter, and the shorts that were fitting pretty good, like they were just like my legs just kind of like took that off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they, the first thing, I got my feedback from the judges. The judges said like your stance and your shorts. So
Damn.
front stance and I'm a shorts. So, but in 2 years, man, in 2 years of
No,
competing, it was a COVID show, and I know a lot of, if I doubt someone from bodybuilding is going to be watching this right now, but if they are, I know a lot of people say there were COVID shows, but it's kind of got to throw that out the window, because one of the reasons I love the sport so much is it's still underground, no matter how popularized it is on Instagram.
I see.
It's still underground. Like there's no WNBA or NBA of this stuff.
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
People become real estate investors so they can bodybuild full time.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's a very cultish following in a sense, and everybody who wanted to make excuses to not compete, or like it's too hard financially this year, some of us were blessed with sponsorships. Some of us were blessed with the fact that we could afford it financially.
Yeah.
And so we took all that, everybody was masking up and not going anywhere. Like, I have to go to the gym,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, you want the sponsorship, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
So um, that was a huge learning process for me because, dealing with anxiety and then dealing with
Yeah.
that kind of pressure on top of it,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make like your mood is not the best.
Right.
Let's say that, right?
I bet. I bet.
I was an asshole like 95% of the time, and just like not trying to be an asshole, but just like crippling anxiety and then all this stuff. So I was lucky enough just to have people who are tough enough to deal with that,
Wow.
who let me know, like, hey, dude, if you're going to keep acting like this, like, I'm not going to stick around,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of, either they stick around or they don't. And they see a really good side of you. They see like the intelligent, like mischievous, like hopeful person that I used to be, into this just like machine, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you got to punch in. I don't care how tired you are, you have to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going through court right now, you got to go. Like,
Right.
your mom was in a car accident, you got to go. Like, it's just, it's insane sometimes.
But that built that discipline you needed, right? I think it seems that it took you to go through those lows to figure out that
Yeah,
this is the norm. If I want to do this, I can't bitch about it.
that's exactly right. And I
Yeah.
think that that's a really good point, because that's an ingredient to being successful in this industry, I think. And I've only been in it a couple of years. But one of the things I've taken from it is that some of the best competitors and best people I know have gone through a lot of crap. They've experienced a lot of hardships, not self-inflicted hardships, not like my life was bad because I made bad decisions, but like, this should happen to me, and this is how I took all that negativity and used it in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
That can be dangerous, though, can it? If you're not careful, like in the gym, I'm saying
At this point, you know how to lift, right? Like,
okay.
like, all that other stuff is gone.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
my conditioning with weight is different than somebody else's.
I see. Yeah.
So your body just adapts. I mean, if you put it through enough pain, it'll just adapt and it recovers, and you just go again. No matter how you're feeling, you just get it in.
Yeah.
It takes a certain personality, and it takes that adjustment to hardship and tribulation. Like, you need genetics in order to, like, go to the top of this industry, but I'm not talking about like photos and music video opportunities. I'm talking about shows.
Yeah.
Right? Because it is so popularized on Instagram that people think that influencers are always going to be good competitors.
Right.
And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
More times than not, it doesn't work out, because there's no such thing as like someone who's a champ like 35, 40 weeks out, 10 weeks out from a show.
Yeah.
Like, every day matters, and you gotta execute every day.
I got you.
So it takes that ability, that drive. Like, you don't need to be well groomed for this stuff. If you have the personality where it's like, someone bumps you a little bit, or life knocks you down, like, you just get back up and work harder.
Yeah.
Then you can do this sport.
Yeah. It takes mental humility, I think, as well, right? It takes that I mean, you can explain it better, I'm sure, but as when you were going through those moments where the trainers were telling you, bro, we don't have to be here if you're going to act like that. And obviously they stuck it out. They saw the value in your mental discipline that was building, or even you already had. And they saw your hunger.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, a combination of all of that is what led them to stick it out. And so now with that, did you get to a point where you were like, all right, I don't have to be an asshole. I can be nice. Did you get to that point?
Like, I don't know. Like it's I think asshole's a relative term.
Yeah.
I think if you're going out of your way to be rude, but I don't like mollycoddle people anymore. You know,
Yeah.
like the old days where everybody was just like nice kissy kissy, like that
Yeah.
ended a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's I respect everybody who's like honestly doing their job, right? And not, trying to popularize it before they start to see a lot of development.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather people do this for the need to do it than the attraction.
Yeah.
But to each his own. Everybody has a reason to do something, and I'm really happy to see people put their health first, primarily. That's the most important thing is your physical and mental health.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're gonna do this sport, then you should plug in and do it and get out of your own way.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm really blessed to have like good coach and good teams and a few good people around me who are like very good examples of that. Because if you can be a good example of that kind of fortitude and discipline in this sport, um, then that's just kind of who you are. Because this is in addition to everything else going on in life. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't get paid and not have a job.
Right.
So
That's cool, man. Um, and how does it work with the building up to an event or to a competition? Are you one that has everybody on your team training you, or is there multiple people competing with you that are
okay,
on?
yeah. There's so usually the structures of teams usually have like some people have multiple coaches
Okay.
for the size of their team. There are some coaches who are for the very commonly known and popular in the US and in the world because of the athletes they produced.
Hmm.
A lot of times it's just one person. My
Okay.
coach is just one guy, you know.
Yep.
I used to plant. Some coaches have someone for female posing and someone for men's posing and
Yeah.
someone for sups, or I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they build it out.
Yeah.
But no, my coach is really good at what he does.
Yeah.
He knows posing for men's physique and bikini and bodybuilding and uh, you know uh all like the different classes in bodybuilding. Or
I see.
yeah. So it's an interesting development because I feel like I was so I was just so focused on doing certain things early in my life. Like
Yeah.
I fell in love with everything I was doing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, like, I'm gonna play college basketball. That definitely didn't work out. I didn't even make it through JV.
Yeah.
Then it was, oh shit, I'm gonna be a rapper,
Yeah.
because all I did was listen to rap music. I definitely didn't work out.
Yeah.
I did a few competitions or open mics in the Bay, and it stopped.
Yeah.
Um, and I've wrestled with the idea of writing books. You know,
Hmm.
I was actually at one point I was like in the middle of writing some history that I was writing, and
Yeah.
and I just like shut that down
Yeah.
because I always see myself like getting up and trying to be physical and be active.
That's the common thread through all of your adult life. It looks like you always enjoyed that part.
I was always doing it.
Yeah.
I was always taking my shirt off. And it's really weird, but I was always like, if there was an opportunity to take my shirt off when I was a kid, I was like out the door. I was like, oh, I can't go to Kroger without a shirt on. Like
Yeah,
I
man.
was that kid, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I thought I looked so jacked. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
skinny, no shoulders. Like I thought I was just like I had abs. I was beautiful.
Yeah. That's great.
Um, yeah.
No, but that's good, man. It's always. I mean, my experience is similar. Not even close as far as being in the gym. But as far as needing to speak and needing to entertain, right? I can relate in that sense because I also, I was in a touring band in my early 20s, right? 20, 21, 22, up to 24. And I thought, I was like, oh shit, we got it, man. A bunch of like we're all young 20-year-olds. Uh we're touring Northern California, and I thought, like, I got in my own head, right? But
Mhm.
then what I hadn't learned was the discipline. What I hadn't learned was what I needed to do to maintain that, and what I had to do to make that grow the right way, the humble way for me,
Right.
right? I wasn't listening. I was just like go 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 go. I was flipping out on my bandmates because they were late and shit. When I was like, but all I had to do was adjust. Anyway, we're all good friends still. We're like brothers still, But so that band, uh, went on hiatus permanently. But then um, after that, and I went through my own journey of figuring out, because I thought I had it figured out, uh as far as like, yeah, this is what I need to do. I'm a performer. And it wasn't true. That's just that was my first door into entertainment, right? I'm not even going to say music, because I prefer to be an entertainer, right?
Mhm.
Not just a musician. I can do music, but I can do more than that. And I had to get myself to the point that we're at now, where I always liked podcasts. I always listened to them anyway, right? I always enjoyed them. And I always had a lot to say. And I always loved learning from other people on these podcasts. And then
Mhm.
I was like, wait a minute, right? What am I doing? I got my computer. I got my mic. What am I waiting on? By the way, most of my shit that you guys are able to hear through is because of my music days. So I had everything, most of the stuff I needed. So I
Mhm.
was like, the only thing I didn't have was up here, right? The clarity. And so once that was clear, it was go, right? And I just went for it. But and it is, yeah, it did take some reminding. Like, I did get reminded that, well, shit, I need to start to actually put in the time it needs on top of your work, just like you, right? And so this one, as men's physique, it is a lot of mental grind, right? It's a lot up here that you gotta you
Mhm.
gotta keep it fresh up here. Stay on top of it up here. You do it no matter what. And I work out. I love exercising. As you remember, back in the day, I play ball and all that. But um, that that's my hobby, and this is my passion, right? It's like two different things for me now. I used
Yeah.
to think of them as the same, but
No.
now I realize now it's
I
yeah,
think that's a really important distinction is hobby and passion.
yeah,
You know, people think that like they come into this environment and they think it's too aggressive,
hmm,
right? And then they feel bad because they can't be that aggressive,
yeah,
or or they didn't make it through the process.
yeah,
Like, is it your passion or is it your hobby?
yeah,
Right? Could you do without this? Or if like this is removed from your life, how crazy are you going? How healthy are you?
yeah,
How healthy is your mind? Like if you can remove yourself from the gym and still be mentally healthy,
yep,
it's not your passion.
yeah, exactly.
Music was taken out of your life, how would you function, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
How
I
would
mean,
you
I
feel?
still play. I still do it. I still need my music too, but that's a hobby right now. You know what I mean? I can say that, and I don't have to fear it. I used to fear saying that, right? Because that was the pressure. Because the pressure of like, well, shit, I studied music, right? Like all that pressure that we all go through, and that's the key word, is the key phrase there is we all go through this shit, man. And the older I get, I realize that, because I'm like, I'm sitting here in my own head, I'm up my own ass about it, and I realize everybody around me to a certain degree has gone through some questions about their career, or
Yeah.
I talked to Dean a few weeks ago, and he was saying the same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, and he was saying that he had to figure it out, right? He studied civil engineering. That
Yeah.
wasn't what
Yeah.
he did that because that was his way. You did history, right? You like
Every,
history, but it's not your passion.
it's all I was good at for college.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and
It's crazy because I was reading an article. This history professor had a master's and she was making like 31K after like 17 years of working there. That's her salary. It's some of these. I was like, man, I used to feel bad that I didn't get my PhD like I was supposed to,
uh-huh.
but I'm smart enough to know that I get more money than this woman does. So like I didn't put it into perspective, man. I used to put so much pressure on myself. It was like, oh, like I'm not a lawyer like I was supposed to be.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
kid came out of nowhere and became a lawyer.
yeah,
That would be crazy.
yeah.
And now I just don't.
But the key there though is you would do this shit for free. You know what I mean? That's the key word is you would do men's you would
Yeah,
bodybuild for free. And that's
exactly.
the point. And that's where I knew that was my clarity is I can sit down here and I don't need to have one member to watch this shit. I can sit down and
No,
do
no,
it.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
think yeah. If you wind up doing it for attention, that's when your feelings start getting hurt.
That's right. Yeah. You can't
If
worry about that, man. That's all fake.
anything, in
Yeah.
what yes, exactly. In music and bodybuilding, like if you do this shit to be seen, people are not gonna look at you, bro.
No.
Like some people don't even like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if there's 5 people in the whole world that don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger, they definitely don't like your ass. So it's
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
important. You
It's
know what I'm saying? Like some people don't like Muhammad Ali. Some people don't know who Muhammad Ali is.
yeah. It's true.
One of the best athletes in modern history. And
I'd argue he had one of the best
you think they're
minds
going to
too.
care about your lat spread? They don't care. They don't care. I promise. 5 people care about it, and if you're shitty to 4 of them, they're never going to talk to you again.
Yeah.
So
That that's
like
you gotta put your focus on you. That ultimately is all that
this
matters.
shit. If you need this shit, if you need music to function healthy, you gotta play some fucking music, man.
Yeah.
You better
Yeah.
play music.
Yeah.
You better start playing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. And when you were saying you enjoy seeing people do what they do
Yeah.
earlier, that's true for me too, man. I feel that because I am not a fan of fishing or anything like that. But one of my cousins, right?
Mm.
That's his passion. He'll do that for free. He's got a food truck out here right now, and I could see it. He needs to get away from doing that grind. Even if he likes cooking, he doesn't like just cooking though. You know what I mean? He doesn't like cooking as the all everyday thing, right? And
Mm.
I purposely got him a trip to go deep sea fishing, and
Mm.
he would like I saw his eyes. He was like in the midst of all that, like stress and bullshit. He like I saw him. He was like, "Oh, you did that?" Like he switched. I saw that, right? And I know I can say that about him because he's my brother. I grew up with him. I know him, right?
Mm.
He's my cousin, super cousin actually, from both sides. So um, we have very similar genetics, but I enjoy fishing because of him, because I see that his shit is like it's addicting. Like seeing him how he's free, and people who just grind at their shit, they understand that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just like you, I know you get what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
people who are listening, who are working hard because it's their passion, they understand it. And I wish that everybody had that, and that's the hard part, right? And that's where I feel bad because people who lack figuring that shit out, their passion, I see that they kind of feel lost at times, and they feel like they don't exactly know where to go. You know, even if they're making the money, right? Even if they're making the millions or whatever.
Money's not
Money's yeah.
man, like not. It's definitely not. We've seen some great minds lose their life to suicide. You
Robin
know,
Williams was a great example of
he
that, man.
was he was the funniest man on earth. The funniest man on earth today if he was alive.
I know.
You know,
And talented too, not just
talking about
funny.
Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle, we talking about,
Yeah,
all these great minds in comedy. Like Robin Williams was like one of the godfathers
man.
of just comedy as a whole,
Yeah.
right? And when he took his life,
Yeah, that shocked me, man.
I
I mean,
just I just don't know.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when do you lose it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like a 10-year process.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I mean, some people think it's immediate, like he did himself out of nowhere. Like,
No.
nah, man. Like,
Well, there's
if
a
he was
documentary
young,
on his life. Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah. They talk about how he didn't want to do it, bro. He didn't want to do it. His mind, like, he had a condition. I can't remember the name. For people who've seen his documentary, Come Inside My Mind, I think it's called.
Mm,
It breaks it down at the end. Like it 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 was almost paralyzing. Like he couldn't. I mean, he fucking choked himself. Like who? You know what I mean? There's easier ways to do it. You know what I mean?
that's what
Like
I'm saying. It's not like even if it wasn't of his will, I don't think anybody really wants to do it. I think it's a
yeah,
very hard thing to
yeah,
think about.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody really wants to do it.
yeah,
I think that
yeah. It's true.
we just don't know what that life's like. Maybe a little bit, but not quite to that point of it's just um when does the mind start to go and to make you think that that's something that you need to contemplate, right?
Man.
Or
Yeah.
you need to take into action. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to darken the mood.
No, for sure.
This shit's just it's interesting to me because like Anthony Bourdain,
Oh my god. Yeah.
like like man, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad does your private life gotta be for how long?
Yeah. It's so true, man. You
Yeah.
know, it's it all the common thread through all of our top conversation that we've been having is mental health,
Yeah.
and it's so freaking huge, man. More than physical health, I'll even say, because
Hmm.
I mean it's all related to me ultimately. I work out for my mental health. When I was younger, I thought I was doing it for my physical health, right? But I started realizing I'm exercise. I play ball. I shoot hoops because it lets me pick up the rest of my day. You know what I mean? It lets me like because I've done it when I haven't touched a basketball for a year, and it was I gained like 45 pounds. I was like eating everything that was in front of me. I was just not happy. But then, luckily, I can say, luckily, I saw some dudes hooping, and it just reminded me, shit, man, that's what I need to do. It all started from a small injury, right? You get injured and you can forget, like that's not the end of it though. You know what I mean? A
Mhm.
lot of people stop doing what they're doing that's actually helping them up here because of an injury. Anyway, I want to get back on track with your career here, and so you said you have goals for IFBB. Can you explain to the audience what that is?
So IFBB is 4 letters. Like you're part of the IFBB, you become IFBB Pro,
Okay.
and it's
What does it stand for? Does it stand for anything?
it's the big league basically. You know what
All
I'm
right.
saying? It's the big bodybuilding league. It's
Yeah.
international,
Yeah.
and I used to at every single stage of my fitness journey. I hate calling it fitness journey is such a trope. Um, when I wanted to work out and look cool in tight clothes and shit, I joined a group fitness and it was like super healthy and it was great. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I looked up to some of these local competitors like they were gods.
Yeah.
and all the Arnolds and all the best Kai Green and all the best bodybuilders up here are just out of my realm. I can't, even fathom that. And I knew it was getting serious when I saw what everybody's doing, and then I see all these dudes working out by themselves who are bigger and leaner, who knew how to move heavyweight properly. I started adding all these things up. Oh man, they're working out alone. They're at the gym at really late hours. They're here early in the morning. Man, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Start making friends with these kind of people. And it doesn't, it also helps that Middle Tennessee is like a huge area for bodybuilding and barbell lifting and strength. Like it's blowing up here. We got some awesome athletes coming out of this area. It's just like, it's very, very competitive.
Yeah.
It is.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
It's because you start climbing the ladder a little bit. Like if you slow down, like they're not going to slow down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's motivation seeing them. It's like, man, if I start sleeping on this stuff now, like I'm not going to be able to catch up to that in the future.
Yeah.
And I just kept getting deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And so it became a career, whereas like it's not a salaried career. Maybe someday I'll get those photo ops and get paid and stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah. It's a bonus.
That's a bonus. Like if it doesn't happen, at least I'm training.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's why it's what I want to do. Like it's no matter where I am, I have to have a weekly gym membership. If I'm traveling, what's the cheapest gym? If I'm here for 10 days, what's the cheapest gym?
Yeah. There you go. So what are the where are you headed at with so tell everyone where you're headed with men's physique in the next year. Where do you hope to be, or where do you plan to be?
Turning pro is like a big dream for everybody.
Yeah.
But you can't really put a time frame on it.
Gotcha.
Just because it almost happened last year.
Yeah.
People still brought the heat last year. It was just a smaller group of really good looking dudes.
Yeah.
And it helps that I look younger as a 35-year-old and 36-year-old and get to compete in the masters category. But everybody on stage at the pro level has good genetics to some extent. So you kind of got to throw all that maybe situation, what if situation out the window.
Yeah.
And you got to be like, this is like, you got to compete like the show's tomorrow. Like you got to train or eat your meals or do whatever you have to do. Like the show is in a week.
Yeah.
I got to put it in my mind frame. But I'd like to be pro in the next year. I hope in the next year or two it can happen. I only have so much time in this body to put it through stuff, another like 5 or 6 years maybe.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to transition to classic physique.
Okay.
So put simply, and it's, a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but it's basically like between physique and between open bodybuilding is men's physique. But everybody every year is getting bigger and more conditioned. So it's always changing. The competition is always changing.
I got you.
So that's kind of where I want to go. I'd like to put people on stage one day, but that's like a 3 or 5 year goal.
Yeah. So that's okay. So that's the more long-term plan with it. That's cool, man. So now I'm assuming you listen to music when you work out, right? So
yeah.
I know you love hip hop. I know particularly you always loved Andre 3000, and I remember back in the day. And so that was more old school hip hop. Now, what are some of your go tos from today's generation as far as hip hop is concerned?
I would say uh still one of the most underrated artists that's newer is Joey Badass.
Joey Badass, yeah,
Yeah, Joey Badass is Christ Conscious drop. Before that, I've listened to every single one of his albums, but it's I've liked Joey Badass for a really long time. But I haven't outgrown my old stuff.
yeah,
Like your favorites are still your favorites. I've listened to like, you know, Golf Wang and Earl Sweatshirt or whatever, you know.
yeah.
I've even watched interviews of 6ix9ine because I think he's hilarious. Just the fact that he never knows what he's saying. But it's like I love all of it. Like, I grew up on Andre 3000. I grew
Yeah,
up on the Dungeon Family,
yeah,
Outkast,
yeah,
and the first actually at a Goody Mob, the first artist I really loved because I just heard Soul Food, right? As
uh-huh.
soon as I heard Soul Food, I was like, who's that CeeLo Green and Cujo Goody? And those were like my guys at first. And
Yeah,
then, of course, like you listen to Goody Mob, you listen to Outkast, and this was in 92, 94,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So um, I listen to them like, yo, Andre 3000, Three Stacks. Three Stacks is still one of my favorite artists. But my favorite rapper, I think, right, has been for a long time, has been is Black Thought out of the Roots.
okay,
I think Black Thought's the GOAT God. Like people say, like now, they like look at faster rappers or whatever who have a
yeah,
mixed
yeah,
pentameter and like, nah, dude, this is like Black Thought chilling after like 20 years of defining the genre,
yeah, yeah.
right? I
He
mean,
set it up. He set it up.
he set it up and he's leading the new shit too. I mean, it's like, he don't get plays like these new artists do on Spotify, but
Yeah,
no one beefs, no one beefs with Black Thought. So all this stuff, all this rap beef people are hype on. Nobody has seriously beefed with Black Thought.
yeah,
Like maybe he had a small beef at one point, but maybe the Roots did at one point, but nobody fucks with him. So
yeah.
Three Stacks, Black Thought,
I like it.
always in my ears.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So with that said, are you where are you thinking hip hop is gonna go in the next 5 to 10 years? As far as
Oh man,
is it on a trajectory up or is it gonna stay the same?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's people make fun of the sound now, but I don't know why they make fun of the sound now because it's a different generation.
Yeah,
It's their generation,
yeah,
and they're just telling people what they know,
yeah.
or maybe they're lying, but they they have, right, a lot of it's hyperbole and lies. But
Right.
either way, it's like if you are a career criminal and you're rapping as a career criminal,
Yeah.
you know, like you're gonna get caught and then you're gonna change and then you're gonna have to rap different. I don't know. You
Yeah.
have your own, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. All I know is that it's the generation now is telling their story. And
Yeah.
I'm sure like there were artists actually when Outkast came out, right? When they won their award, people thought it was going to go to the East Coast or the West Coast,
Mm.
beef,
Yeah.
and it went to Outkast. And that's exactly when people were like, oh man, they're on some space shit, aliens. Like, this ain't cool, bro. I want to hear about big booties and blunts. That's
Yeah.
like that's what I want to hear right now. And they came on a different tip and they defined that time period.
That's true. That's very true. Be different, man. That's the lesson of the day. Be different.
Right.
So cool, man. So we had some supporters of you and the podcast wanting to know if you have a YouTube channel or if you have any other than Instagram. And obviously, I'll plug all your shit on here, but if you want, and then
I don't have anything else, man.
you just got IG.
Yeah, but
Hey,
I'm
and
I'm
yeah,
I'm 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 coming out with a website in like the next year, maybe. So
okay,
it
all right.
depends how things go. It's like this is getting back to like what's more important. You know,
Yes,
what are
yes,
you going to put your energy into?
yes.
You're going to put your energy into creating an image for yourself, or are you going to do a really good fucking job
Mm-hmm.
so all people know is this is you as an image? You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Like
yep.
I'd rather do that
That's right.
than try to build both at the same time. But I do plan on, you know, making this make money for me in the future.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right.
That's cool, man. No, that's great. And by the way, everyone listening, uh, go follow Max here on it's at Matt Max Fit on Instagram. Uh, we had a blast talking to you and then listening to your life experience and learning from what you've gone through, the lows and the highs and the mediums.
Mhm.
And you know, I don't want this to be the last time we talk, man. I don't want the podcast to
Oh
be,
no, of course
you know
not.
what I'm saying? Like we life hit you, life hit me, and we kind of, you know, have been following each other on social media, but we've kind of been doing our own thing, and
Man, it's crazy. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, you and like all these, they haven't seen me in 10 years,
yeah,
right?
easily,
Easily
man.
over a decade.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm a completely different person now.
Yeah,
And I'm sure everybody's changed, right? But it's I've come to talk to some people and catch up.
yeah,
Um, you know, last year the head chef that we cooked for, Barbara Faust, passed away.
yep,
She got cancer, had a brain aneurysm or
yeah,
something.
yep, yep.
And
I
that
heard about that.
I took that very hard.
Yeah,
Like I loved Barbara a lot. Like I thought about her all the time.
yeah,
And but it had me catch up with some people that were like, bro, you had a wicked memory. Like what do you do now? And I was like, oh, like I take my clothes off and lift weights. They're like, what like what?
you
Like,
own that shit, bro. You own it.
I'm not I'm not the same, I'm not the same, but
I
it's
got you, man. You got you're comfortable now, man. You're comfortable being doing you, and that's the most
right.
important part. And people wanna fuck with people like that. You know what I mean? When you're confident in your field or in your passions, and you don't worry about the noise, that shit. There's something sexy about that, man. There's something like no, I'm serious,
Yeah,
because you're not doing it for others, you're doing it for you, and that's the point, right?
right.
Don't do shit for others, right? Do things because you're
Well,
never
I mean, don't tell your wife that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, actually, this is my money and I'm making this for me. What you bring home this week?
Let me clarify. I meant do things for you, but if you got people depending on you, obviously you got to take care of them too. Um,
No,
but
you got to choose your passions because you love them. And
that's
I
right.
think that's, why I stopped being active is like there's so much. Of course, I still love the Baha'i faith. I just
Yeah,
don't practice it,
that's
right?
right.
I'm not fasting. Like you're fasting today?
I'm not fasting, bro. I'm not active either, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not active either. So, yeah, I had my I guess come to realization on how much of the faith I take
Yeah.
with me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
And there's some fundamentals I keep, right, and one day I want to teach to my kids because
Mhm.
the fundamentals are good, right?
Yeah.
And my whole thing, and this is my take, so all people who are religious, I don't want you to take this and think I'm this whole podcast is built around humility, so it's actually about everybody, right? This is about
Mhm.
bringing everybody. If you are religious and you stick to it, I love you. same to people who don't care for religion. It's the point is we're all
Right.
humans first, right? So we want to.
Right.
The
Right.
idea is togetherness, and that's why I'm doing this shit to begin with, because I got to a point where I realized I don't have to stay in one lane. I can open up all the lanes and let it all come in, because at the end of the day I'm learning from all of it, and that's the
Right.
bottom line. That's the whole point. So
Right.
religion isn't for me at that level anymore, but it is for many others, and hats off to them. But yeah, so I don't fast. I fasted from the age of 12 to 25, and then I was like, all right, I'm retiring.
Yeah, it lasted a couple years after Bosch,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few years because of peer pressure, really. They were like, "You're fasting, right?"
You
Like,
weren't doing it for you. See, you weren't doing it for you. That's the point.
yeah, yeah. No, as soon as life got hectic, I was like, I'm not doing this right now.
Exactly. I got it. I get it, man. So anyway, man, anything else you wanna mention, plug, talk about where you're gonna be if you're competing, where when that's coming up, if you have anything like
I'm
that.
keeping everything silent. I mean, keeping
Okay.
everything silent this year. I was very loudmouth last year because it was like my first road to national shows and blah blah blah, all the
All right.
juices, and
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got
I
some
respect
people
that.
like, hey man, you need to just not do that.
There you go.
And I saw that like some of the craziest people I know were just silent. They're deadly silent.
Yeah.
And I've found such a level of respect for that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to do that. I want to compete like maybe this at the end of the year, but I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
people will see the pictures when they come.
That's what I was
saying?
gonna say, man. So for people, if you want to keep up with Max's career in men's physique, you're gonna have to check his IG, because he's focused, and I don't want to change that at all. So,
Yeah.
Max, it's been a pleasure. It's been way too damn long. We're gonna talk offline, and I'd love to have you back. Maybe once you have competed, or once you've reach that next milestone in your career. And I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah,
And
bro.
yeah, man, it's been real.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, buddy. Take care, man.
Together we'll purify the mind and have a good time. I'll showcase your